Welcome to Beyond the Blockchain with Scott Tyndall, a discussion of blockchain technology, cryptocurrency, and why it matters to you.
Hey, folks. Welcome into Beyond the Blockchain. I'm excited to be here with you tonight. Thanks for joining us this Wednesday night at 7. You can find us every Wednesday night at 7 here on 106.5 FM Talk, and you can always catch the podcast if you don't happen to be able to get us live. Tonight's a really special show. I've got a lot of fun stuff planned for us, but mainly because I've got two really fun friends here with me. I love doing radio because it's a really interesting opportunity, and through that, I've met each of you and got to spend time with you. So tonight, we've got Sean Sullivan, as always. Everyone knows him here on FM Talk.
Hi.
Thanks for being here, Sean. And then we've also got the illustrious Johnny Gwin, who, Johnny and I have had a wonderful opportunity not only to become friends and do fun things together. Johnny has been on the front row with some big wins for me. He's also been on the front row with some big losses, and I appreciate that he keeps coming back for more. And we also get to have fun talking crypto all the time.
We do.
And we've been talking crypto for a couple of years now, on our own, and podcasting and here and there. And
winning and losing.
Yeah, we've had some losses there too.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to have you join me tonight because there's a lot of fun things we can talk about that are going to be both local, but also some crypto elements as well. But I think, first of all, let's get right to the highlights of what's going on in crypto this week. And, I think what everybody wants to talk about probably is the ETH merge. I do not want to talk about that.
I don't either.
I want you to talk about
enough.
I want you. This is your area. This is right down mainstream for you, and I did not prep you for this. So here you go. David Bowie's estate is raising money to fight world hunger through NFTs.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, David Bowie was one of the first to, in the 90s, when the internet was still relatively new to the consumer, Bowie Inc. put Bowie's brands, likeness, all of his catalog. You could buy shares of Bowie Inc. So they're actually late to the game, considering usually they were way ahead of the game. So seeing them do that does not shock me.
So this is exactly what we would expect from the Bowie estate.
Well, totally.
Innovator that he was
such an innovator
and business.
And he loved technology, and he was such a capitalist, and he was a great artist, and it fits right in that world. The other thing is, it's on the heels of Bill Murray doing the exact same thing on Coinbase. Bill Murray had his Bill Murray 1000 NFTs that I think he just got hacked, by the way. Did you see where he got hacked?
Brutal.
So his wallet got hacked. But
in a week of weeks,
But NFTs is this, we've always talked about this, NFTs is this cryptocurrency weird thing, this fungible token that can be traded and bought, and it's for fans. Right now it's for fans.
Right.
Fans that love Bill Murray can now own something of Bill Murray. I think you get to go have a beer with them if you buy one of the NFTs. What does David Bowie's little group give you? I'm curious what you...
I don't know. We'd have to look it up.
You can't go have beer with David Bowie right now.
Maybe after the break, we'll try and look up what you actually get from the estate of David Bowie. What you do get is the self-satisfaction of knowing that you're helping to fight world hunger.
It helped, and again, that feeds into...
that's got to come for something.
No pun intended or pun intended. It feeds into that group of people who, rock has always been an activist type voice, and so it's lending money to, to causes with what, David Bowie estate is doing. What I love about it is it's another thing. Bowie fans are rabid. Like the true Bowie fans, it's one more thing they can get their hands on that very few other Bowie fans will have the access to do because of the limited numbers of them. So it will be worth something.
Status.
For sure.
Status inside the group. Yeah. And a lot of what is happening in this NFT space, and Johnny and I talk about this some, is it becomes a status symbol. Like no different than, in your group of friends, if you have whatever is most desirable, you have the best of that.
Right. I have a Mickey Mantle rookie card, and
your group of friends cares about Mickey Mantle,
and they go nuts over it, right? Yeah. And the idea is you flex. Remember, that's right. That's the word flexing. And then if I owned one, it would go on my Twitter profile picture because I want to show off. Look how much I'm flexing. Actually, I wouldn't. I would actually put that in my Nano ledger and get it off the internet. So you and
I own shares of a Bored Ape. If we wanted to, we could put that up. Sean, there's this great thing called Rally Road. We'll talk about. And it's where you can own fractional pieces of different assets. And Johnny and I started playing with it. We own parts of the Declaration of Independence.
Yes, right. And
who had the right to sell it?
The original owner. It's not the original. It's one of the 12 original
the guy
copies.
that died, he had all that. The guy.
That was National Treasure.
No, I've watched more documentaries and movies. There was a guy who had started collecting old books. He died recently. Johnny, you know who I'm talking about? You're not. There was a guy, and he had when did this come up for sale?
Just this past summer.
Yeah, it's this guy.
It's probably all part of the same collection. Yeah.
It's an official copy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then you had
George Washington's inaugural jacket.
Right.
And then I bought part of a unopened 1981 Darth Vader action figure from Star Wars that is worth $25,000. I bought two shares for $20.
So we need to know if anybody out there has got one of those in their closet, because Johnny will definitely buy it.
For $20.
For $20, Johnny will buy that. Johnny, I own fractionally shares in the Declaration of Independence.
Mm-hmm.
Part of a T-Rex head.
An actual T-Rex head.
An actual T-Rex head. First edition of quite a number of books, like
right. Yeah.
Newton and Einstein and some of these. And we were trying to buy part of the Constitution. Remember that? We were part of Constitution
and that group did not get the...
Not only did we not get the funding, but we got beat in the auction by the head of Citadel.
Really?
Yeah,
the Illuminati himself.
The Illuminati himself was the one that bought the piece. Well, we've gone around the circle.
We have gone, but I will tell you, when Rally sends me that email, twice a month or 4 times a month when they show what's being available, it literally is the scariest morning for me, because then I'm figuring out, how do I really want this and how much can I buy?
Yeah. All right. So to that point, I own part of a ticket from Babe Ruth's called Shot. Sean, I own 10 shares in this.
Do you get to?
I am physically one of these people.
So thousands of people own this asset.
Okay, is there any way to have like a divided interest where you can come?
I can liquidate it right this minute.
No.
On the app.
But you can't like say, hey, I'm going to book an appointment with.
No, I'm not going to hold on to the ticket for a couple hours. I'm probably not going to do that. I think they keep it in vaults.
Well, that's the whole thing.
You think, you hope.
I mean, it better be. It's right here in the fine print, Sean. I mean, it's always in the fine print.
And so the exchange is, so you can trade it anytime you want on the app, because there are people that will buy it, or you can sell it back to Rally.
Okay. Yeah, so it's an actual...
I'll say this. This is less the devil's work than the other stuff, because we're
trying to ease you into the details.
There's a tangible with your fungible, right?
That's right.
Versus when it's digital artwork, I get the digital or the clip of Jordan doing the slam dunk or whatever it is. Like I understand that academically, but in my soul, I don't understand because I don't. If I buy the Mona Lisa, okay, and I own the Mona Lisa, it's physically in my house.
Right.
Okay. And even though everybody can see pictures of the Mona Lisa, hey, y'all come over for steaks. Look at that. I got the Mona Lisa. I could go.
But we own shares in Amazon, but I don't get to commandeer the Amazon van as it goes by.
Yeah, but that's
part of that company.
Yeah, but that's a company and an equity. The same way that I get this when we talk about helium or those kind of things. Yeah. I get that. So blockchain does the NFTs bother me. They do.
Yeah. Right.
And so maybe I'll represent those people listening that go, it's the devil's work. If there's this digital asset that everybody I can't see it any better than you can see it online. And I'm not going to, let's say it's something that's not going to sell or make me money. It's going to be the commercial or whatever. Why do I? Johnny?
What if I told you you're buying something that may or may not go up in value, being art, but the part of it that is actually the most valuable is I can prove that it's a one of a kind, and it's proof that you own it and it's not a fake. You are buying something that may or may not go up in value on a market, but it's the proof of provenance and it's the proof of originality and authenticity that you're paying for.
But okay. And I get that part. Yep. It's the same way that blockchain works with cryptocurrency.
Exactly.
I get that. But everybody else can see it just as well as I can see it.
But they can't own it like you own it.
Yeah, but they can see it. The value in it is to see it, right?
But I can go see the Mona Lisa in a museum.
I can go watch that Jordan clip. just as easily as the owner can watch it.
And I agree. I haven't looked into the sports stuff, and I know it's a huge market. I know it's a huge market because you're selling to fans, and they want something and they want to own it and say it's theirs. I got Jordan's moment, and I own it. But yes, I agree with you. I haven't looked at that so much yet, but I do understand the art market. But you also have to understand the history of selling art since the last 200 years. It's all kind of a scam.
Ooh, what a way to lead us into break.
There you go.
It's all kind of a scam. I like it, Johnny. We'll come back, and we're actually going to follow up with that. This show is unscripted tonight and live, and we're going to have a lot of fun along the way. Thanks for sticking with us, and we'll see you on the other side.
Welcome back to Beyond the Blockchain with Scott Tyndall.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show, and thanks for sticking with us through the break. Excited to have you back here with us as we head into the bottom of the hour. I've got always Sean Sullivan, who everyone knows here on the station. Happy that he's in studio helping me stay organized and keep the show going. I'm still got my training wheels on here, but we're doing the best we can.
Ready to kick them off. You're doing good.
All right. But also in studio tonight, we've got Johnny Gwin, Mr. Everything I could ever want to know about technology, innovation, Bigfoot, and the occult.
And the Illuminati. I'm very deep and trying to understand the Illuminati, yes.
I know. You've explained a great many things to me.
Yeah.
We'll get into it another time, but I sent Johnny an article the other day that said there's new scientific research to show that Loch Ness Monster may be realer than we thought.
Realer. So we're in degrees of real.
Degrees of real. Yeah. So basically,
something is either it's pre-binary. And let's talk binary. It's either real or it's not.
It's new research shows that there's a greater likelihood that Loch Ness could exist than previously thought.
Okay, so if it was infinitesimally small before,
it's just less.
If it was 0.0000000001,
yeah.
Now it's just 0.000001.
I mean, per the headline.
So what you're saying is there's a chance.
Which
I'm telling you, there's a chance.
Okay.
Which that fractional sounds like all of the all coins that I started out with 4 or 5 cents are now at 0.000000003.
Loch Ness Monster and crypto profits. Can we talk about what's real and what's not?
I have an idea. You can take the city that lock is on. The city can figure out some weird way to do a Nessie coin. Nessie could be this whole thing based on if they find something and you could sell this coin based on the tourism idea of what that draws to this
perpetual potential rights to Nessie draw.
Yeah.
This is just reinforcing my doubts about NFTs.
That's not NFT.
This
that's
isn't even
coin.
NFT. Like this is straight creating our own Nessie
straight
coin.
currency.
Well, yes, but what you had talked about in the past for somebody like me that's really outsider who's interested in this, that I really I could grab onto it, had handles, was when this currency is better or different than the other currencies because, number one, how they do this. We're talking about how it could be faster. I understand that. And then have it related to something that I understood. We talked about, decentralized mobile networks and all that stuff. I get that. That makes more sense than spending money on a picture of Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's a great way of looking at it. And everyone will find
be the fool. The Spider-Man may make the more money. I just don't understand the other part.
That's exactly the way to approach this as well, right? So Web3 in this crypto concept is just a new overarching layer. It's just this new layer of part of what we do across everything. There are plenty of things in traditional business world that I don't understand, so I stay away from it.
I don't understand how credit cards work.
Yeah,
they do.
There's some things
I don't understand the process. I understand how to use it, but I don't know how the bells and whistles and how it goes through all the things and works that way. I just know it works.
But I'm the same way with bridges. I'm not an architect.
Of course, I know. Yes, because it's dollar bill. But to be honest, all crypto ends up in fiat anyway. Because when you cash out, you're going to end up in a bank anyway.
Yeah. True, unless you just keep it in that world and go from crypto to NFT and then into
and there's some people that think they want to do that,
and that's the goal to me. For me, that's the goal right now because to me, it's another asset that I'm holding that goes along with the other. I'm not giving up anything that I already have. I'm creating another asset class for an investment for me.
No, and when I understand what the thing is. And once again, I understand. You don't understand how to build a bridge, but you ride across it. I get the analogy. But to know that there is a mechanism either to make this, in a currency situation, to make it more efficient, that I get efficiencies, I get value in efficiencies, and that it is driven, in other cases like helium, a decentralized, I get that. That's cool. Okay, I see how that works. Owning the 6-second clip of Jordan dunking, and everybody else can watch that same clip, but I had to pay $1 million.
And the answer is you don't have to.
No, you don't have to. I'm just trying to understand. I try to stress test it because I want to understand. I don't want to sit here and say I don't care about this. I'm interested in new things, but some things I just don't.
The NFT art extreme angle, you see, I think is 3 things. And Johnny can jump in here when you want. I think it's 3 things. I think it's 1, fandom. Someone I am such a fan of this thing, whatever this is, that I'm going to pay an absurd amount of money because I can, because I'm the only one that can. Okay? That's fandom. Yeah. I think the second one is speculation. People are trying to ride bubbles. They're trying to flip and make money, and some of them are going to get caught with their pants down. At the end of the day, somebody's going to get caught holding the bag. Right. And I think the third one is probably washing cash.
Yep.
I think people are, I sell you my NFT for $100,000, and then you sell me yours for $100,000. Now we both can claim we own $100,000 NFTs, but all we did was wash the value back and forth to artificially create value for the brand.
Art's
so I think that, and that's
art's a scam.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's modern art.
As an artist, you're saying this.
Well, I'm telling you, if you look at the history of art in general, look at how it's a tax shelter for very rich people. They donate it to the Guggenheim, and all of a sudden they have a $36 million tax credit. Right. There's a way of inflating the value of all the stuff. There's a way of inflating the value of the fakes. It's unbelievable. The Beeple, remember the Beeple?
I do. That's what I think about digital artwork.
$160 million. Do you know what the rumor is they can't figure out?
What?
If it was a hedge fund group that was buying it from themselves to add hype to the Beeple brand, and really it was just transferring money from one account to another account in the same company. It was just for hype. That is a rumor.
And people will hear this. Beeple guy, this guy, I mean, produces a piece of digital artwork every day, I think, right?
And he produces really cool stuff. But
I think
like anything else, is the valuation. How do you determine the valuation? So that's where I say the third factor in this is, I think there's just a whole lot of gaming the system going on in NFTs that are sold for a tremendous amount of money. I don't think anybody actually values them for that much.
And we're talking about the crazy prices of NFTs and these JPEGs we're paying millions of dollars for at a time when crypto was at the highest it's ever been. And there are people who became crypto millionaires when they started out with $1,000 and had $50, $60, $70 million. So it was no big deal dropping $800,000 on what made them rich to begin with, because the idea is they're showing how they're flexing.
It's a flex.
But now you look at those NFTs now, they are just like the crypto market is. They are 10 to 5% of what they were.
Did they fall along with the currency?
Or harder and faster?
Except for some caches that were very big ones that were the ones that had the hype to begin with.
Yeah, the few blue chip projects,
the blue chippers,
they've held on. They've lost comparable to the market, but they've held comparable to the market. Yeah. The rest of them just went to garbage fast.
I mean, those Bored Apes are the ones that we're selling for $600,000, $700,000, $800,000. I'm seeing them.
Is that what Bieber paid for one of them? So Justin Bieber paid.
Yeah, Bieber's got them. I mean, Snoop Dogg's got one. Snoop and Eminem just did a MTV Video Award presentation using their 2 Bored Apes.
Right. And again,
in the metaverse.
It's like Stoner Cats. Stoner Cats is Ashton Kutcher, and they're creating a entertainment vehicle that's going to be a movie and a TV show.
Digital versions
But they raised all the money by selling these Stoner Cat NFTs. So then it goes back to that thing of you saying something I can hold. It is based on something that you can see and watch in the entertainment business, based on Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis and that whole world. So at least it's tied to something that will drive revenue.
Okay.
There's a million things out there,
but again,
we can't cover all of them.
But again,
like today's,
and I understand Sean's trepidation, because we are talking about massive amounts of money, and I'm bringing up Bored Apes and Stoner Cats.
Correct.
That's where it loses the serious investor going, I'm not investing in a cartoon of a cat that smokes weed, but that's what it is.
You wonder what somebody who's starving in a third world country would think about.
They got bigger problems than Thundercats.
Well, that's why they're selling David Bowie NFTs to help offset some of that problem. Well, we're about to try and wrap up this half of the first half hour, but it has been quite a roller coaster with you too.
You'll get it back on the tracks here.
I don't know about that, but we're going to do our best to get it back on the tracks. When we do come back, though, what I want to talk about is real life practical use application of crypto. And we're going to talk about the Helium Network, and we're going to talk about Tram the Town, this new business coming to Mobile that I know a little bit about, but also we're going to be incorporating helium and the helium sensors into what we're building.
Okay, so so helium is going to be on the tram?
Yeah, so we're going to be using actual helium sensors.
Okay.
We're going to be tracking the location of the tram. We're going to be tracking the tire pressure. We're going to be tracking engine temperature and things like that. But I'm also thinking of all the ways to use helium to track the parades. Yep. How to know where things really are. And if something breaks down, how do we start using location tracking
smarter
for the parades to make it smarter? Yeah, make it easier. We used to have the float tracker.
Yeah.
But let's get it smarter and more innovative.
And put that on there. And while we're doing it, teen tracker, where we track our teenagers.
Ooh, I like that.
Look, I got a 12-year-old. I'm thinking that's probably not the worst idea these days.
Oh, I've got a teenager. Yes.
They're already tracking dogs.
Well,
yep, we track them too. Yeah.
All right, folks, we'll see you right back after the break.
Welcome back to Beyond the Blockchain with Scott Tyndall.
All right, folks, welcome back. We're here at the bottom of the hour. Beyond the Blockchain, this show about cryptocurrency, the blockchain, emerging technologies, NFTs, all these things that Sean and Johnny love to talk about. We got a little sideways at the end of that first half, but I want to circle back to this conversation on NFTs because during the break, I think we had a little bit of a breakthrough here between maybe Sean's skepticism a little bit and Johnny trying to maybe illuminate the path. So, Johnny, let's walk back through what we just covered during the break real quick because I think maybe this will make sense for a lot of our listeners and maybe kind of break up the clouds a little bit.
You have to remind me. We talked about four things.
The insurance.
Piece. And you mentioned real-world use of crypto and blockchain in real world.
And NFTs.
Okay, well, I do a podcast. I did a podcast called the Insurance Guys Podcast. Bradley Flowers, Scott Howell, and Boyd.
Our friends, and Boyd, we love the show.
And it's a huge show. It's for independent insurance agents, and it's about how to be better insurance agents. Okay, better insurance agents. Well, there's a guy named Joe Haller they interview all the time from New Orleans, and he is a contract master. And he has been working with crypto companies and NFT companies of making the non-fungible token, which is actually a digital contract, right? An if-then statement. This happens, then this happens.
Okay.
And what he's talking about is this NFT that you buy with your policy, which proves that you have the policy, but it has everything that sets in place the triggers of if something happens.
It's a smart contract inside the NFT.
So the idea is when you have what he calls a standard a claim, this NFT will prove that you've paid everything, done everything right, and it might immediately make you whole with either crypto or fiat, which is real dollars, immediately upon the approval of that contract. So an NFT now becomes a contract that starts to click into something to prove your ownership and prove your assurance that is who you are. And the last thing I heard was Enterprise Rent-A-Car talked about this to MIT 5 years ago. Enterprise Rent-A-Car is working to where they are using QR codes with the idea of that being the NFT on the car.
Right.
That QR code is what says the title of that car is.
Yep.
You will not have to ever go to an Enterprise counter. You will take your app. You will set up your probably Enterprise coin, whatever it is.
Right.
You scan that QR code, the car's NFT, the non-fungible token, and all of a sudden you are renting that car with Enterprise tokens. And now the door opens up with Starlink, and you get in the car and drive away, and now you don't have to have any interaction with any third party at all, and you're renting cars from Enterprise. That is real-world use of crypto and NFTs and the technology of the app. And so that, to me, is pretty amazing.
And it would make your time at the airport a lot faster.
And they've gotten parts of that already done. You don't have to, but you have to be a part of this other club, and you're still using a credit card. But this is just a faster way of where and again, they will probably still have that option for 20, 25 years for cash and credit card. This is just another option for them to be able to get paid.
What do you think, Sean? So making some semblance of sense here?
That one does, because there's a value I understand. There's an efficiency. That's one of the things that's kept me so interested, not knowing how it all works, but kept me interested because so many of the things talked about with blockchain that you've talked about, Scott, are more efficient way to do things. There's a value in efficiency. That makes sense to me. I get off the rails on the art and the clips and the NFT things.
And that's
I don't understand.
fine.
But what Johnny just talked about, like I get that because it's a better way to do something. Okay, so there's value in it's the better mousetrap. I get that.
Here's an analogy that I was thinking about today. I saw this piece of, and this will make sense for you. I saw this beautiful piece of land for sale for like $13 million. It was like a hunting resort.
Yeah, I know which one that is. Just hit the market, Baldwin County.
Yeah. So the concept there is,
I want that place.
Is how do you prove that you have permission to be hunting on a piece of property at any specific time?
Okay. Yeah,
we have the NFT.
In Alabama, you're supposed to have, it depends on the situation, but written permission.
Okay. How do I know if your written permission has been revoked?
That's good, yeah.
I could have the ability to revoke your written permission, and then your NFT will say, yes, you're green, or no, you're red to be on this particular piece of land at this particular time.
So the sheriff or the game warden shows up, questions your ability, you show them the green or red on the edit. There's value in that.
Again, paying for proof, praying for providence, praying for certification.
Yeah. So that would be the idea of how we could, and that only popped in. I don't know if anybody's doing that. If they're not, somebody should jump on that and start doing that, because I think that'd make a lot of sense. But I saw that, and when I was looking at that piece of property, I was thinking, if I was ever fortunate enough to own a piece of property like this, how would I prove who was allowed to be here and who wasn't?
My answer is
when I
no.
turned that light off, no. Well, you paid $13 million, Sean. You're going to have to invite some friends over. Johnny and I ain't just going to be hanging out.
They're going to ride with me
down the river.
They're going to be riding with me.
So
we'll come southbound down the river and just camp on your beach.
So another real world NFT thing is going to be car titles. Car titles will be all done with this idea of your NFT goes with your car, with the VIN number and everything in ownership, and so it's not paper. It's this idea of it's traded on this blockchain where nothing can be altered, nothing can be changed. And so the idea is if you do not have the NFT when you sell the car, then you cannot sell it probably legally, but you darn sure not going to get the money that you want to get for it unless you have the NFT title and the car.
But
I'm not saying that
thing. I mean,
kind of,
like
but but there's already companies out there that actually one has a NASCAR
partnership.
Partnership. It's called not Carvana, but it's like that. But the idea is they're already working on the idea of selling cars using their token, and then the idea of recording the ownership of cars on a directory using this NFT to make it easier to sell your car using the NFT as your title.
Now, first part of that to me is just the I got an NFT for that. But the making it easier and being able to rely on the information on that vehicle, that it wasn't some flooded car from Houston after those.
And even more, you're going to have users who get paid premium value by recording all their
oil changes
repairs and maintenance on the NFT.
And
you'll be able to look and say, every time that I've had any bit of interaction with this car, it's been recorded into this blockchain. I know it. I know every bit of work that's
work
been
on
done.
that now, right? They try to get you to use their services that are more expensive, but you have this record when you go to sell it. But this would, whether I go to Scott's Quick Lube or Johnny's 10-minute oil or whatever it is,
that's expensive, by the way.
Yeah,
that's right. Then that goes into the records of that specific vehicle, right? And
again,
so now
I see value.
It's all about increasing the value. Yes, proof, providence of what you've done. Last week we talked about how all those years we spent playing video games on Madden mode or whatever and never getting any value. Now there's Web3 games.
Nakamoto games. Yeah.
There's Footium, this Web3 soccer game.
Mm-hmm.
You can own your own team. You can spend all the time building it up, and then you can go sell that. So kids in their dorms who are no longer wasting their time. When we were sitting around trying to learn how to gamble and figure out life, we were just doing it for fun. Mm-hmm. Now they can have digital horses and they can go out there and start racing their own thoroughbreds.
So Axie Infinity has a game in the Philippines. So it's a earn crypto video game that like a
play to earn,
Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, you play to earn. And there are people who found out it is more lucrative to sit at home playing video games than it is to go work at that convenience store down the street.
Well, if you're good.
You're good.
And I think it's also if you're consistently playing.
Participation.
Good, so we can encourage more people sitting at home.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
We got to figure out how to have something where, as everything goes electric, we have the treadmills, not Peloton, they're getting sued, but treadmills in homes that are feeding into a grid, and you use some kind of power. Yeah, as you are walking on your treadmill, you're powering it, and you have some sort of token that shows that you're legitimately.
So people are trying this.
Many watts.
There are, well, not quite the watts, but there are people that are creating tokens around movement and your health activity and trying to reward you for moving. In exchange, serving you.
I have the ultimate.
But then you
one.
put that thing on the dog and let it run around the backyard.
Well, everybody's gaming the system. Trust me.
Sure. So I can't say certain words on the airwaves.
Thank you.
There's actually a coin, because you know what there's a derogatory term for alternative coins we call roughly
rhymes with not Bitcoin.
Right. It's the
rhymes with Bitcoin.
Yeah.
The poopy? Can I say poopy?
You can say, you just did, yeah.
Okay, well, so there is a coin that is out, and it literally is the S word for that.
Okay.
And it's made from the guy made the toilet. And so when you do your thing, it goes in the toilet. They save your stuff, and you get paid because they make energy out of it, and you actually earn blank coin for that. And I just read about that. It's in India.
Wow.
Johnny.
What?
Johnny, the demand for this was out there.
Look, I just read about it. I'm just saying, I was like, wow, that's a real use thing for, by the way, the world needs to figure out how to make more power, because I keep reading the news how Germany is not going to have power and gas this year. I'm just saying, this guy has decided how to make, it kind of reminds me of Max, the Thunderdome stuff. Remember the Thunderdome movies?
Just doesn't seem super efficient.
I'm just saying, but
the delivery system is of question there. But
there is a lot of interesting, very interesting projects out there, is all I'm saying.
Listen, I'm on board with that. You know, we talk about on the show all the time that we're going to find ways in Web3 to monitor just about all of your activity. I did not realize that it was
that's a lot.
Almost all of your activity.
Take away the process. What they're saying is you create something that creates energy we can sell, and Sean, you can understand that, right?
Yes.
What if it was timberland, they're making those little wood pellets, then there's a way that they all this thing
we're tracking you.
We are figuring out this process. You do this naturally, you do this thing anyway, and now we can make you earn on a different market where there's no middleman now, and you are helping us create energy that we are selling, so we are going to pay you directly.
That sounds much better than how you started this conversation.
Well, but again, if I could say the actual word, it would be much better.
We're good. We'll save that for Beyond the Blockchain After Dark.
Yes, you can do that on the podcast.
After Dark.
Oh, man.
Sorry I derailed that one.
No, we're having fun tonight. I hope everybody else is having fun with us. Oh, what a cool, perfect way to...
What has happened here?
Go into the break. All right, when we come back, we're going to wrap it up and go over some of this stuff we talked about, talk about what we can expect going into the next week. And, man, we're just having a lot of fun together. Stay tuned, if you will.
Welcome back to Beyond the Blockchain with Scott Tyndall.
Hey, folks, welcome back. And we're here for a final few minutes, hanging out, talking cryptocurrency, blockchain technology. Lately, we've been talking NFTs and the ways they can be used practically, some of which will be carried on at a later time. But we're having a lot of fun tonight. Sean Sullivan's in here with us, keeping me on the straight and narrow with my training wheels. Johnny Gwin is here, trying to get us off the rails. I'm getting to play referee, and I'm having a really good time, to be honest with you guys. This is a lot of fun for me.
Look, anytime I get invited to be on a microphone, because I produce shows and edit shows, I just love to I like to talk, and I finally get to talk on the microphone, and I don't have to do the post-production.
No, I need you to edit this afterwards.
Oh, never. No. Again, you can't afford me if I have to do it for myself.
That was a little sneaky link. We got him in here, didn't let him know that he had to edit it.
But it's fun watching Sean's face get really red when I'm talking about things I shouldn't be talking about.
Well, that's why we only let you on live radio occasionally. If we kept Johnny on live radio all the time, it'd be quite the problem.
Hey, I have never, ever gotten anyone in trouble yet.
Well, let's keep it that way.
Night is young.
9.5 more minutes.
So, something we had talked about with the technology, with helium and blockchain technology, having the sensors. I made the joke about the teen tracker right there, and there's obviously technology already. I mean, we put things on their phones. We have things on their vehicle. Maybe she's not listening. We're tracking our teenagers and our preteens the same way. But if there's a cheaper less intrusive way to do it. Just like you've talked about monitoring tires, or
the temperature of seafood delivery or crab pots.
Those kind of things. If it could be something that I could pick up at a de minimis cost and put this stamp on this vehicle or in the kid's book bag or something like that.
And that's where we are now. These things are becoming cheaper by the day, and the sensors are becoming smaller by the minute. Right?
I've got another insurance, real-world use of helium. So there was a $40 million painting that was being transported from London to Scotland. The insurance company said, before you move this thing, we have to ensure that this thing can be tracked and it can be secured for us to give you the bond, right? So Helium stepped in and they put a tracker on the piece of art where it followed it in real time from the minute they moved it off the wall into the van. The van, they drove it to Scotland, and when it went on a new museum, and the insurance company cut their premium by 40% because the idea was we can watch it in real time. And that to me is one of those things of saying, oh, that's the future happening today.
Right. And you go, okay, $40 million deal. I could put a cell phone in that box if I wanted to.
There's technology already that'll do that.
So the idea is if you take that and now go to scale and the cheaper you're able to make the process.
It's 50 cents or whatever, 78 cents for the sensor,
Now,
and I understand that.
Now your your normal shipment, the insurance on that should drop. And so just take that and delete a bunch of zeros behind it and say, how do I move a $4 product? And track it and know exactly where it is. And when I can do that all the time, now we're winning.
And that's where it's confusing when people says, well, where's the money in this? But Helium is saying, no, we're using Web3. We're using all this technology. We're using all these hotspots to do real world trackability things, accountability things. It's an actual business model that happens to have its own currency. That's where the thing gets in, where people get so confused by. But I don't understand this H&T thing. Well, yeah, that's just their funding model or currency model, but it goes along with a business model. And not all coins have that. Dogecoin literally is a meme coin. Like Elon Musk, post or tweet something and it goes up or down. That's not a business model. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. I would ask too, because you mentioned it, how you will be using this technology with Tram the Town, talk about this.
Yeah, so we just announced this week that we're launching a new tourism business called Tram the Town. My business partner and my business partner acquired these really unique, amazing trams from Universal Studios. They're the original trams that did the backlot tour back in the 60s. And the way that came about was the studios were looking for ways to make money. The glory era of movies had gone by, and they needed to make money. So Universal Studios said, let's get these trams. We'll drive people around. We'll show them how movies are made. And then we'll end the tour by taking them to the cafeteria, and maybe they'll run into a celebrity. And so that's how they would always end the tour. So millions of people would ride this, and they'd go see how movies were made in Universal Studios. Then somewhere along the way, the trams got sold to Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys, and they used them at the stadium to tram people from the parking lot up to the stadium. And then, I don't know, a decade or two ago, my business partner, Jim Walker, had Jerry Jones with him at the bike shop during Senior Bowl week, and somehow it came up. And the lore of the story goes, Jerry Jones was shipping him these trams the very next week. And so here they are. They've been in Mobile. So now we're putting them to work. So you say, how are we going to do it? So we're going to create this tour. We're going to create this amazing experience. And we're going to use Helium. And we're going to use Helium to track the location of the trams, create an interface so that our guests know where the trams are at any given time.
Cool.
So you know when your next tour is coming up. You don't have to question.
Gotcha.
Right? It's like, the tram arrives in 8 minutes.
It's almost like they're using an Uber or Lyft or something like that. Here it's coming down the street.
So you'll be able to track that. We'll internally, we'll be able to track the number of guests that are on the tram. We'll be able to track anything related to censoring of the coolant or the equipment or the audio or the electrical, or I'll actually be able to know remotely if something goes out with the electrical or audio.
In real time at the moment.
In real time at the moment, to know that I've got to troubleshoot it so that the tour guide doesn't have to stop and report the issue. So that we'll have a report that there's an issue, and by the time the tour is back, we'll know what it is, have it diagnosed, and ready to be replaced and back on the road.
So my question is, like the Gulf Coast duck boats that you were a part of, will the helium sensors record all the times that Sweet Caroline will be sung on the trams?
We should get one of those specially made. And the over-under is a couple thousand.
Three. At least three a tour.
We might get that. Yeah, Sean said that's the idea. I mean, we take these things and put it to use and really start gathering the data. And when we really want to get interesting, around our facility, we're going to have helium sensors in all the garbage cans. It will actually notify me when the garbage can is 75% full, so I can go out there and change the bag without having to do that. And that's technology that could be implemented all over downtown immediately. There's so much of this technology that exists on the Helium network that as a community we could have on how we can become a smart city and start using these sensors immediately with no cost to the community because the network is already built. And individual people like myself and Johnny and Cam Marston and all these other people we know and who are involved in.
And we need more people. Mobile needs more density with these spots, with hot spots. Yep. We have to build the density up to make the matrix make sense.
That part I like. I mean, the idea of being a vertical real estate, for lack of a better word, for transmission, that somebody in my business, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, Scott put me on this really cool thing of water quality testing, real world, like real time water quality testing. I talked to someone who has one of these wonderful, wonderful oyster farms that we have. Mm-hmm. By the way, $1 billion industry by 2030 is what I've been told. But the idea is they have a hard time with salinity numbers. They have to pick that stuff out of the water to save their harvest. Well, it takes them 24 hours to get real like salinity tests. Well, 24 hours it could change.
Right.
Supposedly,
at least twice, right?
Helium is coming out with partnering with someone where you can put this buoy in the water and it is real time, testing of at least giving you an idea of a ballpark of where you are instead of take a sample, put it in a tube, send it off, and wait for a phone call. That sounds like it's 1985.
You can get devices that do it, but you physically have to be there to see the. I forget what that thing
exactly.
is called,
you want to be making the call when you're 300 miles away. You can call somebody and say, "Pull those suckers up now."
Yeah.
Man, what a way to wrap up the show. Oysters, tourism, some of the things I love, practical uses of crypto and utility, friends, hanging out with my guys, Sean and Johnny. It's been a pleasure, guys. We'll be back next Wednesday night at 7. If you missed part of the show, you can catch it on the podcast. Go check us out, fmtalk1065.com.